Listen, lots of innovation is happening. As Sam said, every year it's 10x reduction in the cost of intelligence. That kind of innovation can come from anywhere in the world. Why shouldn't it come from India? Our country sent a mission to the moon at a fraction of the cost that many other countries did, right? Why can't we do a model which will be a fraction of the cost that many other countries do?
What is it that we can really do which we're not thinking and not doing enough of?
I really want to echo the comments about the full stack approach. India is an incredibly important market for AI in general, for OpenAI in particular. It's our second biggest market, tripled users here in the last year. But mostly seeing what people in India are building with AI at all levels of the stack, chips, models, all of the incredible applications. So I think India should be doing everything. I think India should be one of the leaders of the AI revolution. That it's really quite amazing to see what the country has done and embraced the technology and building, again, the entire stack of things on top of it.
And also with the recent developments, do you have a different view around the cost of building foundational models?
Yeah. So first off, if that's a reference to a comment I made here a few years ago about the cost, I think that was taken out of context. That was a very specific time when there was a certain scaling thing where I thought, it's gonna, and I still think to stay on that frontier of pre-trained models is expensive. But one of the most exciting things that's happened to me since, that I think's happened in the industry since, is we're now in a world where we made incredible progress with distillation. We learned a lot to do small models, and these reasoning models in particular can be, it's not cheap, it's still expensive to train them, but it's doable. And I think that's going to lead to an explosion of really great creativity, and India should be a leader there, of course. There's two sort of different ways you can look at the costs of models. So to stay at the frontier, we believe those costs will continue to rise on this exponential curve, but also the returns to increasing intelligence are exponential in terms of the economic value, the scientific value that you can create. So, we're doing this big Stargate project, and that's going to go like this. On the other side of it, the cost for a given unit of intelligence 1 year later seems to fall by about 10x. Moore's law was a 2x every 18 months for the number of transistors on a chip, and that changed the world if you waited a few decades. But what's happening with the reduction in cost in AI models is extraordinary. Now, I don't think it means that the world's going to need any less AI hardware, because you bring the cost down and just the people are going to use it for a lot more things. The total number of dollars will go up. But that's a really exciting thing happening.
That's wonderful to hear, and I think there's a lot of excitement here, which is why, so I'd like to come to you. You recently announced that India should be building foundational models, and it's a very complex process. And I was just wondering, how are you thinking about the surprises and the serendipity that's going to come from a lot of the diversity that we have here and the complexity of just India. And so, how do you feel that the foundational models that India is planning to build is going to be unique and serve a unique purpose to the world?
Listen, lots of innovation is happening. As Sam said, every year it's 10x reduction in the cost of intelligence. That kind of innovation can come from anywhere in the world. Why shouldn't it come from India? That's the point.
Sure.
And our young entrepreneurs, our startups, our researchers, they are really, really focused on getting that next level of innovation, which will reduce the cost. See, our country sent a mission to the moon at a fraction of the cost that many other countries did, right? Why can't we do a model which will be a fraction of the cost that many other countries do? So yes, innovation will bring that cost down. We think that that kind of thing will come out in this process.
Absolutely, and just the diversity that we have here. I think at OpenAI often we say that if you can solve for India, often you can solve for the world as well. Because if you're able to take care of the breadth that we have and be able to solve for the last mile, often you can very much do that. And also you've spoken extensively about the the excitement that you have around building on application layers. And since we have developers and startups in the room, I think this could be a great space or a great platform for you to share OpenAI, what do you really think are areas that they should really be thinking about, and also not only supporting on the application layer, but also your adoption just within the government? How are you really looking at that AI adoption within the government?
That's a good question. We have been using multiple AI applications within so many different departments, so many wings of the government. And I think that can really help us solve these population scale problems, because most of the problems we face, Sam, are problems where you have to look at a multiple of billion, so which is like very common. So then how do we solve these population scale problems? That's where our focus, of course, is on all the three layers, and within the applications in healthcare, in education, in agriculture, in weather forecasting, in disaster management, in transportation, multiple different things we are working. And I request the entire startup community to come up with very unique solutions, and we'll be open. We are very soon starting a kind of open competition for it, open empanelment competition kind of thing. So that will be huge. So many problems can be solved, and why don't we use this latest technology that we have for solving these problems, right? You guys are good with that? Would love to do.
Some more energy, guys. Come on. Amazing. Just building on that, Sam, I'd like to come to you, talking about population scale problems, as the minister said. Again, India is very well placed for that, and our mission really is, artificial general intelligence for all of humanity. And so I'm really curious to understand from you, how can the models and the tools that we are constantly releasing play that equalizer role and be able to really fulfill in healthcare, education, at really significant ways?
Finally, for the first time, I think the models that are on the near-term horizon, the models that we'll release in the coming months, are over the threshold of being good enough to really address these problems. And now people just have to go build the solutions. So you already see, and you see this actually a lot with deep research in the last couple of days. People say it did this amazing thing for diagnosing a disease or helping me with my research to, try to cure a disease. Education, you've already seen now with previous models where people say it did amazing tutoring results. So I think the underlying innate technology is just right on the threshold, and we'll get there with the next models. But now people have got to go off and build all these services. So someone in this room hopefully will figure out what the AI tutor of the future looks like, and that'll be a population scale thing, and it'll think what that would do if every kid on Earth, this year got an AI tutor that was provided like a better education, or helped to provide a better education than anybody could get last year. Think what it would mean if we could have like an AI medical diagnosis system that was better than anyone could get last year. Think what it could mean if scientists could go cure every disease faster. And so, we've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I think we're gonna deliver something that can help with it, and now people have to go build with it.
Absolutely, and I think the recent launch of the research was just incredible, right? And I think everyone's been tracking it closely. We want to be able to use it. Do you have any advice specifically if we were to use that to solve, very complex problems like cancer and large diseases that we suffer? Do you have any sort of guidance on what's the right way to start experimenting?
So we're very much still in the research assistant phase of this. This can help someone review the existing literature and find some connections. But this is not an innovator yet. I don't think we're yet at the technological level where any of us should expect these models to go cure cancer on their own. We will get there, I think.
Yes.
But for now, I think this can help researchers be much more productive in what they do.
Absolutely. I also just want to ask you, India has an aspiration to have a voice and be in, the top global countries contributing towards AI. What do you think, what is your advice, as we think about and as we have so on stage, what do you think we should do to really have that global voice that we want to be and leaders actually in India?
I mean, it seems to me like it's working.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you need to do anything differently.
That's already a compliment to what Sir is already doing and getting out. I also want to ask you, sir, a quick question. You must be using AI in your daily life, and I'm not going to ask you what is your favorite platform, because that we already know. But I'm very curious to know, how is OpenAI models adding efficiency and productivity to you in your daily life?
Bad question to ask. On this platform, obviously, I'll say it's very good. No, of course, jokes apart, OpenAI really makes life significantly easier. Writing notes, getting all that stuff out, it becomes very easy. And getting the, I was just curious, what would your research project mean for quite a lot of people? And how can we make that transition smoother? How can we make more difference in their lives, as we were discussing just before coming to this stage? As in the large number of people who do a little bit of basic research and bring out reports.
So this is a very unscientific guess, but my vibes-based guess is that deep research can do a single-digit percentage of all of the economically valuable tasks in the world and almost none of the complete jobs. But that's okay, because you can just use it to be more efficient. So if you are a scientist trying to cure some disease, deep research is surely not going to go cure that disease on its own. But if you can farm out the tasks that took you a lot of time but were lower value, if you can say, help me with this literature review, help me figure out how to order these supplies, help me figure out what steps I need for this experiment, and you learn to work that way, maybe you can be twice as efficient. And if you can double the efficiency of every scientist on Earth with the tool we have today, which I believe might be possible. It's not going to do the really brilliant insights, but if it can take away a lot of the lower level work, it's going to take the world a while to get used to that. I think people have compared the launch of deep research to the launch of ChatGPT, so we had chatbots and now we go to these agents, and it's like a magical thing. You're like, oh, I didn't think AI could go do this thing for me. I didn't think I could go do a multi-day task, and now it can. But it took a while for the world to figure out how to use ChatGPT. Not that long, like months, not years. And I think it's going to take months, not years, to figure out how people become really productive with deep research.
Yeah.
Security is another concern, and also there are concerns about national security. Sam, what do you think? How should we be working on these items?
He's taking my job now.
I think these models are on the precipice of being incredible at software engineering, and that'll be great for a lot of things. I think software engineering by the end of 2025 looks very different than software engineering at the beginning of 2025 does. But it will have huge impacts, good and bad, for cybersecurity, and we've got to get ahead on the good.
For sure. No, sir, please.
That's what that guy is saying, time's up. I just wanted to make the best use of every second that I have with you, Sam. And thanks a lot for coming to India. We are super excited that you have come here. And really, this entire team, entire startup community is so excited, so supercharged. But guys, I cannot see that energy. Show it, man. Come on. That's the way. That's our India today, right?
Thank you very much for having me today, and really excited to do a lot more together.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward, sir. Thank you so much for all the ideas. And I think this is the right room to start. And we have a lot to cover, so we are going to get on with it. And with OpenAI right there to support the developers, the ecosystem, the government, we'd love to do more together. And hopefully next year when Sam is here, we'll have already many of these partnerships in place. So looking forward.